Hi guys, Sci-Fi Recapped here. Before we start, warning, spoilers ahead. Today, I'm going to explain a 2012 action fantasy movie called Wrath of the Titans. This movie is a sequel to the 2010 movie Clash of the Titans, but you can fully understand the movie without having to watch the previous one. The movie takes place several years after Perseus, the half-god son of Zeus, defeated Kraken. After the event, Perseus decides to live as a normal human being and refuses his dad's offer to rule at his side even after his wife's dead. He now lives as a fisherman with his 10-year-old son Helios. They seem to enjoy their mundane life in the small village. One night, Zeus suddenly visits Perseus and asks for his help, saying that the powers of the gods are fading since the humans have stopped praying to them. However, there is a huge consequence they must face. The gods will become powerless and mortal, and the Wall of Tartarus, the underworld prison of the strongest titans and monsters, will fall and the imprisoned demons will break free and attack the earth. Perseus refuses to get involved in the army and chooses to live with his son. He then politely asks for his father to leave. The next morning, Zeus goes to Tartarus where he meets his brothers Poseidon and Hades and his other son Ares. He offers Hades his help to rebuild the Wall of Tartarus and suggests he forget the past, but it seems like Hades still cannot forgive his brother for kicking him down to the underworld. He summons the minions and they start attacking Zeus and Poseidon. Poseidon is severely wounded in the ensuing fight and Ares has also picked sides on Hades. He hits his father ruthlessly and takes away his weapon, the Thunderbolt. Zeus is then tied up, and Hades reveals that Kronos will allow them to keep their immortality if they free him. He is delivered to Kronos, the strongest titan and the father of the gods. Ares ruthlessly punches his father to express his jealousy towards his brother Perseus, while Kronos starts draining Zeus's energy, depicted with fire all around his arms. Meanwhile, the twin-headed monsters called the Chimera emerge from the underworld and begin attacking the nearby villages. One of them is Perseus's village. Realizing that he must protect his son at all costs, Perseus brings out his old sword and armor and fights the Chimera. After the long chase, since the Chimera keeps running away and attacking innocent people, he manages to chain the monster and lure it to kill itself with its fire blast. He then brings his son to the Mount of Idols, which is completely run down due to the lack of people coming to worship the gods. He prays to Zeus, but the dying Poseidon arrives instead. He tells Perseus that Hades and Ares have joined Kronos and Zeus has been captured. He orders him to travel to the underworld himself and free his father. Before that, he suggests Perseus to find Agnor, the half-god son of Poseidon, to assist him. He then turns into ashes and hands over his trident to Perseus. The demigod then prepares himself and flies on Pegasus to the campsite of Queen Andromeda's army, where Agnor is being held. Upon arrival, the army gives him a warm welcome since he is considered a hero after killing Kraken. The queen personally greets him, but suddenly the commander comes in, telling the queen that they have lost more than 300 men only to kill 4 chimeras and urging them to pray to Ares. However, Perseus interrupts, telling them not to pray to him since he has become humanity's enemy. It is revealed that Andromeda's men have imprisoned Agnor for stealing crown jewels. Perseus informs him that his father, Poseidon, has passed away and urges Agnor to help him get to the Fallen One. He agrees, and the queen releases him. Agnor, Andromeda, Perseus, and several soldiers embark on a journey to the hidden island where the Fallen One, or Hephaestus, is hiding. Perseus explains that he is the one who created the gods' weapons, Zeus's thunderbolt, Hades' pitchfork, and Poseidon's trident. He adds that these weapons can be combined into the Spear of Triam, the only weapon that can defeat Kronos. They then unchain Agnor, and he uses his father's trident to direct the boat to the island. Upon arrival, the reckless Agnor steps into a trap. They can't cut the counterweight since the fall will immediately kill him. Suddenly, a wild Cyclops, a huge monster with one eye, appears and starts chasing Perseus. The soldiers attempt to assist him, but another Cyclops shows up and attacks them. Terrified, a female soldier secretly prays to Ares. Perseus tries to fight back and manages to stab the monster's hand with his sword. The monster resists, but he is able to reach the rope that causes a big trunk to fly in and hit the Cyclops. When Perseus shows them the trident, they immediately release Agnor and lead them to Hephaestus. He warmly welcomes them. However, he does not recognize Agnor, even after he tries several times to convince him. Hephaestus concludes that Agnor is a useless demigod, that's why he doesn't know him. Hephaestus has lost hope after he knows the truth about the gods, but the charming queen begs him to help them. Since she reminds him of his wife, he agrees to help. The blacksmith reveals that he is the designer of Tartarus, informing them that there is a shortcut to the center of the prison. On the other side, Zeus's condition is getting weaker and Kronos starts to awaken again. Hephaestus guides them to the entrance of Tartarus while showing them a map to navigate the path into the labyrinth. Upon arrival, suddenly Ares confronts them, thanks to the soldier who prayed to him earlier. He easily eliminates all the soldiers while the blacksmith attempts to open the entrance door. He even kills the prayer. Since the door only stays open for a short period of time, he uses his staff to hold the door and deliberately sacrifices himself to distract Ares while Perseus, Agnor, and Andromeda reach the door. Without Hephaestus, Agnor tries to read the map to direct them, and they eventually arrive at the core of the labyrinth. They explore it, and the path comes to a dead end. Suddenly, the labyrinth begins to move rapidly and continually shifts. At some point, Andromeda is trapped and almost gets killed, but luckily the men manage to free her. However, Perseus gets cut off from the group, falling into a room where a wild minotaur appears and attacks him. The fight ensues. The minotaur is strong enough and manages to slam Perseus to the wall several times. He eventually gets his chance to counterattack and kills the monster. The labyrinth begins to move and he reunites with Agnor and Andromeda again. They finally arrive at the heart of Tartarus where Kronos has absorbed all the power from Zeus. Zeus apologizes to his brother as he forgives Hades for his actions. Ares confronts the gods. Hades eventually regrets his action and fights Ares, while the group arrives and tries to unchain Zeus with the trident. Meanwhile, Kronos has fully awakened and begins to move. After several attempts, Perseus releases his dad while Ares intervenes. He throws Hades' pitchfork towards Zeus, which successfully impales him. Using his remaining power, Zeus manages to bring all of them, excluding Ares, out of Tartarus. They arrive at a base where Andromeda's army is gathering and immediately carry the dying Zeus to the tent. Zeus reminds Perseus that only the spear of Triam can defeat Kronos. Since he has retrieved Hades' pitchfork and Poseidon's trident, he needs to lure Ares out to take Zeus's thunderbolt from him. He prays to Ares, challenging him to a 1-versus-1 duel at the Temple of the Gods. Meanwhile, Queen Andromeda explains the strategy for facing Kronos to her army. Their main mission is to hold Kronos back for as long as possible. Not long after, the volcano explodes and several four-handed monsters emerge from it, attacking the soldiers. The war between monsters and humans ensues. At the temple, Perseus finds out that Ares has kidnapped Helios. He deliberately brought Helios to watch his father die. They fight, but it seems like he is much stronger than his brother. He easily subdues Perseus, ruthlessly slamming his head to the pillars. Helios tries to challenge Ares by pointing his sword at him. Using this opportunity, Perseus manages to attack him and stab him in the chest with a knife. He activates Zeus's thunderbolt and destroys him with it. Perseus then combines all the gods' weapons into the Spear of Triam. The monsters are very strong and easily eliminate the humans' army, but they don't give up and they keep giving a tough fight. Using his remaining power, Hades forgives his brother and transfers his power to Zeus. They come out from the tent and help the human army to fight the monsters. Finally, Kronos emerges from the volcano, and with their power combined, Hades and Zeus try to strike the Titan. Equipped with the spear, Perseus immediately flies towards Kronos. Meanwhile, the Titan throws a fire blast and starts running towards the army. Kronos attacks again, and this time Zeus has to use his remaining power to protect Hades from the blast. On the other side, Perseus eventually reaches out to Kronos, attacks him with the spear, and finally throws the Spear of Triam into the Titan's stomach, completely destroying him before dealing more harm to Earth. After that, Perseus approaches his father, who says his final words and gratitudes to his son before disappearing into ashes. Meanwhile, Hades has spent all his power and goes away. Perseus then meets Andromeda and kisses her. At the end of the movie, he hands over his sword to Helios and decides to train him to be a soldier. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.